in the academic world, you were a teacher, weren't you, at the LSE and all that. I mean, I would have thought that you would have certainly kicked against what I see as being like an orthodoxy there. I don't just mean in the academic sense, but actually even in the political sense, surely. I mean,
yes, I think going back then, politically probably less. I mean, I pulled out of full-time academic life 20 odd years ago, very long time. I think, if again I'm honest, for much of that period I was rejoicing in the newly developed gay activities of London and having a jolly good time. And because I'm a natural extemporary lecturer, I could be out enjoying myself till 4 in the morning and still do a sort of 10 and 11 o'clock lecture and still be absolutely fine. So, I mean, how did I kick against the pricks? I believed passionately in teaching. I taught the wrong subjects. I also believed that everybody should be a serious teacher, which I've just been having lunch with my former director, and he was describing his absolute failure to get my promotion through the academic board because they all hated me, as I invariably came top of the student appreciation list, you see. And this was regarded as being a bad thing. And one of the catastrophes with the universities is that we have falsely prioritized research. Now, I think research is very, very important. But the prime purpose of a teaching university has to be to teach. But most academics aren't interested. They regard it as an unworthy diversion of their time from thinking great thoughts and getting huge fat research grants.
Do you think that the young people that you come across, that you talk to or whatever, do they have a far more tenuous grasp of our story, of history?
Most of them have no grasp at all, unless they happen to be. I mean, the ones that I really meet have a very good grasp because they're fans and they love the sort of things that I do. But the general impression that I get is that the teaching of history, as dare I say, the teaching of virtually every other subject, now seems to be fact-free. They're inculcated with opinions. This received opinion.
Isn't it this kind of experiencing like I am a peasant in
that sort
feudal,
of thing, yes,
what do I feel?
Empathy.
So as I was wondering, because
as opposed to infamy is all good at infamy.
Yes. I think that
if only Keith Williams were the teacher of the nation's history. Yes.
It has deteriorated, teaching of history, in what, 30, 40
But
years?
I think all subjects have. There is partly it's how teachers are taught. I mean, the terrible notion that you need a certificate of education. The way, and I know lots and lots of people who think that the way to improve education is to close all departments of education. They're disasters. What you want are teachers who are passionate about their subjects and can communicate them. And also, again, there has been, certainly in subjects like history, there has been deliberate subversion. What I regard as the proper way of teaching history. There has been, again, the influence of postmodernism, the attack on fact, the claim that everything is a matter of opinion. No, it's not. Again, students are encouraged, children really, pupils, are encouraged to write opinionated essays when they don't know anything. I think that the conscious attack on the idea of nationhood, the deliberate denigration of British history, which is very interesting, this whole attempt at moving slavery to the centre of the story. What this is an attempt to do is to say that British history is as corrupt as German history. Of course, the Holocaust has ceased to be useful now to the left as a moral reference point because they dislike Israel. And there's now this very powerful flavour of pro-Palestinianism, pro-Islam, and anti-Zionism. But also, it's useless because it doesn't attack Britishness. The Britishness is really the last uncontaminated nationalism to survive the Second World War, because we didn't suffer the crisis of defeat. And therefore, the great enterprise of the left is to destroy it. And the attempt is using the attempt is using slavery to say that British history is fundamentally corrupt. It's, of course, an absurdity, because every other civilization and every other empire practiced it, many of them on a much larger scale. But the uniqueness of the British Empire is it destroyed it. You know, and it's fascinating that my own university, Cambridge, has jumped on this, led of course by a Canadian who rejoices in the name of Toop. I say it should be Stoop, bending the knee before these people. The absurdity of it is, of course, Cambridge is the pioneer abolitionist university. It's actually a vice-chancellor's essay that in the 1790s that leads to the first formulation of abolition in intellectual terms, and then it's picked up by William Wilberforce, of course, who is a Tory. You know, but this doesn't fit the narrative.